Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me. I must sound a little bit like Bane at the moment, so I'm talking extra loud. Okay, so I've got to sound a little bit like Bane at the minute. The reason I'm wearing this mask is because I have been blowing my nose a lot. It's one of my worst habits, honestly. Um, and it's just a fucking mess up here. So I got the mask on, right? I wore the mask yesterday, but for a different reason. That's because I already had the flu and I didn't want to catch it again. And these people here, they've got the flu, and they've been catching it from one another. So I wore the mask just to make sure I couldn't catch anything when I went out. But today I'm just wearing a mask because like my nose looks a hot mess from blowing it all the time. But I actually wanted to come online to talk about gangstalking today. I haven't talked about it in a while. It's just because I've just been so focused on like Empress Justice Tarot and everything that I'm doing with that and changing my services and like writing, and plus my grandfather passing away. Like I've had so much to focus on that I really haven't had like a spare moment to talk about the gang stalking that much, or to even think about it. And plus, I've got to be real with you guys. The gang stalking is not affecting me as much as it normally does. It's not affecting me like that. I go through phases where sometimes the gang stalking will really, really get to me. And then there are times where I go through phases where it's not going to get to me that much. Like now is a phase where it's really not getting to me that much emotionally. And as a result, the gang stalkers around me are getting a little bit antsy. And I am really kind of understating the situation when I say the gang stalkers are getting antsy. Truth be told, they're absolutely terrified right now because I don't seem to be reacting to anything that they're doing. I just seem to be very calm, very relaxed most of the time, not really talking that much. It's like what's happening to me is a natural thing. It's called aging. Like, it's fucking normal. It's like, it's aging. That's all that shit is. When you become less focused on the crap that people say to you and you become more focused on what you're doing, that's just called maturity and aging and growing. And when you are used to constant torture and high pressure situations like that, you know, you go through the it's what I call a purging. You go through a few years of expressing yourself and expressing all the pain that you're being subjected to. But then after a while, you start to get used to everything. You start to get used to it. It always happens. It doesn't matter how bad the abuse gets. At a certain point, the TI gets used to the pain. They get used to the pain, and sooner or later, they find a way to work through the pain. That is all that has happened. And because of that, the gang stalkers are shitting themselves. I think, again, personally, this is what I think. This is conjecture. This is not fact, right? What I think is going on is that, let me hold it up here, see if it's any better. What I think is going on is that the gang stalkers, if they cannot upset the target or agitate the target, they do not get paid. I think that is what's going on. If they can't agitate the target to the point where the target is sectioned or in prison, then the gang stalkers who are antagonizing the target do not get paid. That's conjecture on my part. That is what I believe to be going on. But I also think there is a deeper reason why why the gang stalkers are scared that I'm being calm and that I'm not reacting. I think they're in fear of their lives. I don't know why they could think that I would do anything to them. I don't know why they think that, but it's like, I actually tell a lie. No, I do know what the reason is, but I'm not going to say it here. But if they are in fear of their lives, it's actually not me they need to be afraid of. I heard a story being told of a gang stalker who was an arms trafficker. This person was a regional manager of gang stalking. I think it's in England. They're a regional manager of England when it comes to this particular what they do. And apparently the people that hired him, they blackmailed him into it, and they did it by threatening his life. So they had him held over a cliff, and they said to him, okay, you got two options. Either you work for us, or we're going to toss you over this cliff. That was the option that he was left with. Those were the options that he was left with. So that was a regional manager of gang stalking, and that was also somebody who had been using electronic weapons on people. And at this point, by the time my source had actually connected with that person had had 7 strokes as a result of the radiation that they'd been inflicting. They'd had 7 strokes. So I think that if the gang stalkers are going to be in fear of their lives, then the endangerment to their lives is not going to come from me. It just isn't. It's not going to come from me. It's going to come from the people that they work for. And truth be told, right, like I said, shame is a hell of a currency. If they don't get to you through your life, they get to you through your shame. And that's exactly what they tried to do to TIs. They tried to make every single aspect of our lives shameful so that they can weaponize it against us. But when you decide that, you know what, I'm a human being, I'm going to fuck up, I'm going to do stupid shit, and you actually do the work to be an accountable person as a targeted individual, when you actually do that, then they can no longer weaponize everything that you do as something to be ashamed of. And if they can't weaponize everything you do as something to be ashamed of, then you become desensitized. And if you become desensitized, they can't get to you. And if they can't get to you, guess what? Again, conjecture on my part, they don't get paid. And when they don't get paid, they might become a liability because they know too much. And if they know too much, well, I'm not saying it has to be as drastic as that arms trafficker who became a regional manager. It doesn't have to be that drastic. Doesn't have to be that drastic. But it can lead to some pretty TI adjacent stuff, but worse. I know of I know of stalkers who have been sectioned and who have been subjected to a lot worse than me, ironically. They've actually been in fucking hospital, been injected in their arse and all that type of stuff. I haven't had that as a TI. I've never had that as a TI. And yet several perps that I know have been injected in their arse. Or several perps that I've interacted with have been injected in their arse. The perps are more likely to be subject to that treatment than me. I'm not saying that as a TI, I'm not going to get that treatment, because there are plenty of TIs who have been subjected to psychiatric abuse where they have had to have forcible injections. It has happened to TIs before, so I'm not about to sit here and diminish that as if it's something that doesn't happen to TIs. It does happen. But what I'm saying is that if the perps don't upset you and the perps don't get to you, they have a lot more to lose. And they're over here thinking that you're the threat, but you're not the threat. And I think even if they cognitively don't know that you're not the threat, subconsciously they know you're not the threat. Because every time they get scared, they start fucking with you. So yeah, these perps are scared for their lives. I'm not saying they're wrong to be scared. I'm not saying they're wrong to be scared, because when you decide to become a perp, you get what you fucking get. You're replaceable. I'm not saying they don't have any reason to be scared. I'm just saying that the fear that they're experiencing, baby, it ain't me they need to be scared of. It's the people that they agreed to work for. Those people lie like they breathe. And everyone is expendable. Even us. The TRs are actually worth more than the perps. Because we are the experimental subjects. It's not that easy to replace us. But perps are very fucking easy to replace. There are plenty of people out there who are driven by ego and driven by shame to do what they do. There's plenty of people like that out there. They're easily hireable. They're easily replaceable. TIs are not replaceable like that. There's a lot of money invested in us. And invested in the weapons that are used to torture us. And invested in placing us in homes. There's a lot of money behind us. There's not that much money behind the perps. They can be replaced easily. You've got to use your brain. So it's no wonder that the perps are scared that I'm not fucking reacting and they're not getting a reaction out of me. They're scared for their fucking lives. Again, they should be, just not from me. And because they're scared for their lives, they're trying to make me scared. Oh, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Why is she not scared, bitch? Oh, she's not scared. She's not scared. I want her to be scared. Why is she not scared? I'm used to this shit. And I'm more valuable than the perps. That's why, bitch. They do not want TIs dead. They do not want TIs dead. When TIs die too early, that's money down the fucking drain. When you die, that's money saved. Please don't piss me off. So, yeah, they want me to be scared because they get scared, and that's it. I don't understand how after 2.5 years my neighbours still think it's a game. I don't get that. I really don't get it. But there's one example of where they tried to intimidate me. So I think it was Saturday. I'm not sure what day it was. I think it was Saturday. I was taking out the trash, right? And I was putting it in the green recycle bin. And as I come back from the bin, one of the neighbours comes out, and they're dressed in black. One of the neighbours comes out just when I'm entering the driveway. And I think the point was to start on me or scare me or something like that. It didn't work. As it turns out, these neighbours right here and that neighbour who popped out, they were cool with each other. So they were talking to each other and finding out whether or not I was scared or startled. These neighbours here, they've been singing at the top of their lungs and playing loud music and stuff. Because the thing is, I have ADHD. I tend to do that shit. I tend to sing randomly. And I tend to play a lot of loud music, sometimes for longer than I should. But yeah, I tend to do that stuff. So they were copying me doing that stuff. But I didn't care because it's just singing. Who cares? And if you want to sound like a fucking drowning cat, that's up to you. I don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? But that instance with the neighbour trying to startle me by walking, you know what I mean? Just by walking in my direction. And they thought that was going to be enough. And then when it wasn't, they had this meeting oh, she wasn't scared. What the fuck are you trying to pull, bro? What the fuck are you trying to pull? Stop it. Yo. And there's a lot more street theatre that the perps are trying to do. Just give it up. You've lost. You've lost. And it's not even because of me. It's not because of me being calm and all that type of stuff. It's got nothing to do with any of that petty shit. You've lost because all of your behavior, all of your human trafficking, all of you utilizing psychiatric abuse to shut people up, that has directly led to austerity, to the cost of living crisis, to people getting increasingly sick, to older people dying in care homes by the thousands at least. Everything that you have done through gang stalking has contributed to a lot of the problems that we are facing right now. You have made your own country vulnerable just so that you didn't feel ashamed of yourselves. That's ultimately what it comes down to. You should be fucking scared. You don't deserve comfort. You don't deserve to feel comfortable. Everything that you have done has led to the degradation of your own country, one community at a time. You should be fucking scared. You've lost. You have lost. It's not even that you're going to lose. You're going to, because I used to say when I was really sick, right, and when I was going through this targeting, and I was at the height of finding this whole thing insufferable, and I got really sick because of it. My OCD was raging, my ADHD was raging, everything was raging, and the pain of the gang stalking at the time just had me outside myself and really, really sick. At the time, I used to say, oh, you're going to be next. You're going to lose. At this moment, you have lost. There is no discussion. You have lost. All that pride, all those vices you refuse to do anything about, all that shame that you refuse to grapple with, it's led to the depopulation of the elderly. It's led to the abuse of fetuses in the womb, not abortion, but irradiation in the fucking womb. It's led to genocide of specific ethnicities, not just us black folk, but so many different other ethnicities. Marginalized ethnicities, indigenous people, Romani travelers, like everything that you have done has led to the continued extinction of several different ethnicities, races, classes of people. You should feel bad. You deserve to feel bad. Fuck you. And I deserve to feel good, because whilst I'm not a good person, I have at least elected to live with some kind of integrity. Right or wrong. Right or wrong. And it has actually helped people. The fuck do I need to be ashamed for? Every single mistake I've made in my life, every single piece of embarrassment I put myself through has led me up to this moment. Up to this moment where I can tell you, you fucking lost everything. Because of your own actions. Regardless of the street theatre, regardless of how you try to start on me, you've lost. It doesn't matter. If I were you, I wouldn't focus so much on my reaction to things, and I'd just keep doing what you were hired to do. Keep cranking on. Don't worry, you'll get there eventually. You'll get a reaction eventually. I just don't know if you're going to be able to use it. I don't know if that reaction is going to be of much use to you. Most likely it might make you regret getting a reaction as usual. But let's see what happens. As for the rest of my fellow TIs, if you've made it this far in the video and me sounding like Bane hasn't confused all of you, please let me know how you're doing in the comments. You and I will talk soon. I love you guys. Peace and blessings. Is there anything else I need to add? Yeah, that's it. So, I love you guys. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.